When you hear people talking about the trial bar, what is a common misunderstanding that people have about your industry?
One, frivolous lawsuits. Number one, I hear that a lot. Number two, I often hear that we're ruining business in Illinois or impairing business in Illinois. I live in a fairly conservative town, and I'm often at weddings or dinner functions, and people will come at me, "What do you do?" "I'm a trial lawyer." And you would think that I'm public enemy number one. And when I start telling them the facts, rather than the myths, rather than the perpetual story after story that just keeps spinning, they look at me and oftentimes, "Wow, I never knew that." "Really? That's how things work." And I tell them, for example, right now workers' compensation is a big issue in Illinois. And I tell them, I said, "Do you folks realize there's over 330 workers' compensation insurance companies writing business in Illinois? And in this hellhole, in this bad place for business?" Well, these insurance companies, these 330 insurance companies are climbing over one another to collect premium dollars from employers. And I tell them with regard to workers' comp, back in 2011 when the workers were asked to give up long-held rights, they said, "If you think this is going to lower insurance premiums, you're naive. But what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to put in the bill transparency in insurance premiums. And we want an industry watchdog, not consumers and not the trial lawyers, monitoring the payouts under the new law and monitoring insurance premiums." And as the workers predicted, this year, the watchdog, the industry group, recommended a 14% decrease in insurance premiums to employers for workers' comp, because they said that the insurance companies have saved over $350 million as a result of these changes. And you can imagine what the insurance industry said. "Nope, not going to happen." Another common myth that I hear all the time, because I do a fair number of medical negligence cases, is that doctors are getting sued right and left. It's not true. And I said, you know, let's talk the facts for a minute. This is all public data, by the way. In the last 10 years, medical malpractice filings are down by 40% in the state of Illinois. That's huge, 40%. And profits are way up in the malpractice premiums. They have record profits, the insurance companies. Another huge myth that I've told people.
Of course, we had the 2004 change in the law that then the Supreme Court threw out as being unconstitutional. But would you say of any of those changes relative to the medical malpractice suits being brought, was that any kind of a change in behavior by the trial bar? And I'm trying to anticipate what someone who would disagree with you would say. Because the bill was like a warning shot across the bow of the trial bar to say, don't sue as much as you did in the past? Or were there other reasons why we had a 40% drop?
The main reason is, and I can say this because I was chairman of the Medical Negligence Committee for 7 years for ITLA, and I've also been a lawyer who's done this for 29 years. Medical malpractice cases are incredibly expensive. A simple one plaintiff, one defense medical negligence case, I have to budget $80,000 to $100,000 out of my pocket to give my client the ability, expense-wise, to try and prove their case, to give them an opportunity. They're very, very expensive. And that's the driving force behind medical negligence. I should say the main driving force.